Rahim. I decided, well, I still have one front tooth left. Praise God. Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Kareem. I just want to see her and my father tonight. So inshallah in back here. Sweet Saturday, bye. Jeff philosophy and what Allah. Mind, heart, and soul. Such love and grace. Given to this nobody. SIAM from SERRIGNE, SALIOU, and back. I guess all my videos SIYERE, you can say. My music doesn't make any sense to you. If it does, alhamdulillah, all praise be to God for it. Some people 10-minute people, 30-minute people, 30-second people, you know what I'm saying? You know, I don't play for people. Because my soul says play. cosmic blues going. See how you swing something back. Somebody. fan mixed in with the sound. It's a part of the whole tonight, whatever this is. Try to cover myself. My mouth's falling off for a minute. You know how it is. Sometimes our clothes fall off. They're gonna fall off when Azrael comes to you. That angel won't say nothing. He just snatches you out of here. He just snatches you out of your body. It's serious. But you don't want to hear about what's real. I know. I know. I have a mantle that someone made for me. Mom Jar made this mantle for me. My first made mantle. Man. I saw Askia Toure in New York, and he had a mantle when I met him. We were in this bookstore, and the great poet, we were attracted to somehow, I don't know, man, we started talking, and I was starting talking to him, and next thing I know, he was giving me a copy of his book, and he asked me, did I have any place to go, and I said, no, and then he just threw me and my wife in a cab and took me to his house. Now he don't write me, I don't know what to do, you know, we left hugging, I don't know, I write him all the time. He gets my poems and stuff I post to his page. One time he did answer me, though. He answered my first message to him. I hope he's well. I'm sure he writes to some people. He doesn't answer me, though. I don't know why. But he loves me anyway. I know he does. You know, Askia is great. He's truly great, man. I learned a lot from reading Askia Toure. This is all my music is the SIYERE to SERRIGNE, SALIOU, and back. One day took my fingers, my hand. Or he just took my hand. He just took my right hand. And he had it, and he was there, and he was praying over each of my fingers and prayed over each one of them. He called my name over my fingers. And until recently, I never understood why Master did that. He was so subtle. You know, he was Al-Latif. He was subtle. My turban's coming off, so I need to get off here. I don't want my turban to fall off. Then you see that my whole head will fall off. We'll close it out here. Yeah, because I don't know, camera's falling up. Camera, you know, must be drinking some Jack Daniels or some Jim Beam or something. I don't know. Anyhow, he's over here trying to upstage by snoring. That's what I'm a companion for those that are so hard on dogs. What did you do with that dog in the cave in the Quran? This is Ramadan. What do you do with that dog in the cave? You run from him too? Read the surah called The Cave. There are companions in the cave, and they have a dog. Some of my brothers really messed up with that concept about the dog in Islam. You need to check some other sources that give you some different understandings about the dog. Just don't go in, wear one suit when you got 100 up in the closet to check out. You know what I'm saying? And I love my brothers, you know, I love them to death. You know, I'm looking, I know, I love them, man, you know. Some of them I really love. They're terrified of dogs because that was put into them. That was put into them. That teaching was put into them. Scientists have discovered that some saliva from a dog heals diseases. That's why they lick themselves off. It heals diseases. So you got to be misunderstanding what Rasulullah meant, because nothing he said would be, you know what I'm saying? What kind of dogs were they back in his day? What kind of dog was he talking about? Were they like wild dogs running loose in the desert with no domestication, no tags, no license, no, you know what I'm saying? You know how nomads, Shalumar was telling me about some of the nomads acting in the nomadic desert? Bedouins, oh, he said they rude. We would consider them rude. They just boisterous. They say with wooden arms, they just, hey, they will bust your head. I'm talking about not the ones in the city, way out, the Bedouins, way out in the wind, where they hear God in the wind, talking to them. This is author's name that wrote a Quran. That not wrote one, he interpreted. His Quran is a beautiful interpretation. He lived with the nomads, and he lived in the desert with them, not like Yusuf Ali, whose translation of the Quran or interpretation of the Quran is so popular. He never lived with Bedouins, as did this brother who wrote a book called Road to Mecca. And he's of Jewish, so-called Jewish descent. His father was a rabbi, and this son of a rabbi studied Islam and became fascinated with the depths of Islam and the richness of Islam. And he lived with the Bedouins, and I have to get his name and come back on another video since my mind seems to be leaving me tonight. And the book has been in my face, smacking me all over the place, and suddenly we can't see this book. But that's the way things are, and you can't get upset about it. You just have to look at the suchness of things, you know. I put it somewhere, and somewhere is where, you know, it lay. It doesn't have to be laying close to me right now, but this is the SIAM broadcast, and we do accept a deal from those that are sincere if they send it as unto God, so that we can bless some children in this world, so we can publish our next book, and your name will be in it if you send a more than a $25 donation or more. All I have is my word on that. You know, Chief, your book is coming, it's signed. I just got to get to the daggone post office. I'm slow. What can I say? 1,000 things happen every day. It's my intention to get it to you soon. Been my intention for months, I know. But it's coming, Chief. Everybody tell you I come through. You know, I come through. And when I come through, it's always on time. Because God is never late. Because there is no power less than the power of God that can withstand the power of God. You chose this sensation. You chose to experience it. It's gonna be a long video, you know, and that's okay. You know, if it's too long for you, just leave. Just leave. You know, other people can hang with me and people that know I'm real. Why be a fake all your life? I never fit well with fake. This one to you, Khoudia. receive my prayers. I do give my benediction to my friends and to my daughters and to my sons that stick with me and try to get some of my posts out when they can and keep the page alive. This is only up for my children. It's only up for them. It's only up for my Deborah. It's only up for my Sheree. It's up for my Shola. It's up for those that stuck with me, those few. I don't know whether they wrote to Mark Zuckerberg or not. I'm not chasing nobody, trying to make nobody do nothing. You know, nobody will do any more for you than they love you to do. And people know what's going on this page. You see it in front of you. And you have the power to change it. Don't nobody hate Mark. I love him. I think he's a great man. I do. He's the most great man. Young man, too. That's what tripped me. I was so young, you know. Yeah. But Illuminati brothers supposed to help one another, not destroy each other. And you people can change the racism on Facebook by demanding that it change. So they ask for suggestions to make Facebook better. So we have broke no rules there either. You see any rules that my posts break? You see any pornography in them, any filth in them, any dirt in them? Do you? You see any hate speech in them? You must see that in my prayers. Let me get off of here. Let me get off of here. It's Ramadan. I need to make some more praises unto my Lord this night before I get too sleepy. Some people fall asleep in Salat. Some of the saints used to fall asleep in Salat. It was not a burden for them to pray. And it was not a fear, it was a happiness and a joy. I can't go in these mosques, people sitting up at the end of Ramadan, Allahu Akbar. Allah, you keep that, man. I'm not coming up in now. You're not praising my Lord like that. I do what Rasulullah said. When Islam becomes so corrupt with scholars and so forth, it becomes so corrupt. This is day of time. Really, he was talking about it. He said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, it becomes out like, he said, go find you a place in the desert or the wilderness to worship Allah alone. St. Jelani spent 25 years alone in the wilderness before he was sent into the city of Baghdad to begin. He didn't begin then. He came back and he stayed another 10 or so years, 12 years. He was in seclusion in Baghdad before he began his great ministry. Well, up to 70,000 people at a time would come to hear him in his majesty. And he would often go into a static state and walk through the air over their heads. And it was not unlike 3 or 4 people that just dropped dead from the present glory of God. Some men are more than men. It's true. St. Jelani had a servant or student that one. And he had been good to this student. And this student did something horrible. He lied and did some other stuff. And Sheikh Jelani was so wounded and hurt by this because he had been kind to this person. He was very hurt. His personal affectation. He loved this disciple, so it hurt him. It wounded him. But it also made him angry. So he withdrew to his private quarters, and not long after this happened, not long after he went into his private quarters, fires began to break out all over Baghdad, the city of Baghdad. And by the way, all the bombing they dropped in Baghdad, none of those bombs hit his mausoleum. None of them hit his Kaaba route. The bombs exploded all around everywhere in Baghdad, but none of them hit. You don't know the bombs in America dropped on Baghdad. No, you don't know. They dropped so many bombs. None of them bombs. They killed so many people, so many innocent people too. No, basically, did you find a weapon of mass destruction? No, you found mass destruction of multitudes of people in the name of something that wasn't there. I mean, that's the truth. Oh, Lord. I don't tell people nothing they don't read in the newspapers every day. So take it out on your newspapers and information you're putting out to the world and showing people. I don't take pictures of nothing. I just weep over it because all I see is zillions of souls just being wiped out. You know, it's like wiped out of an experience of life because of a few selfish, greedy, pedophilic, nasty, spirited people that the people are supposed to be electing. You're not electing Jack. We are what? Elected. To God be the glory. My focus is on the Lord of the worlds. You know, let my blessing just wipe this whole planet out and take me with it because I'm of this generation. I could not reach them. They were just dead asleep. Take me with them. I don't care. Because once you have crossed over in consciousness, you don't care. Not once you understand that this is an illusion. It's gonna end. And nothing you got that you hanging on to are you gonna take with you when you leave it. You're not taking nothing with you when you leave here. And do you know when you're leaving here? So why do you act like you do? Why do you talk? Why are you so asleep that you function as though you are? You function as though you do know when you're going to leave this body. So you're just, so where's your humility in confrontation with your mortality that could occur at any moment, any second? Every time I go to the graveyard, I see little tiny graves. Also with big graves and old graves and young graves. They're all there together, singing the same song. Though they had money and bud before, or that they were rich or they didn't have any money, they're all singing the same song. They're all lying beneath the earth and they all are in a state of death. You and I are going to have to pass through that state. How do you want to enter that state? I may not have any teeth at all up here before the end of this broadcast. I told Reverend Bates to go get me a set of Chinese teeth from the Chinese shop, to give me a set of Chinese teeth. You know, you go to Chinese place. He said, yeah, you get anything in there. I was like, yeah, well, you know, I want some Chinese teeth. I want some teeth. Because this is, now I'm saying, nobody took me to the dentist when I was young. They didn't take me no dentist. I didn't know that was even a thing that people did every 6 months. What? It's deep, man. You don't get it when you're little, man. They mess you up. We have a heavy responsibility with our children. So this video is whatever it is, you know, but all of them are my SIYERE to my master, Serene, Saliou, and Baki. I thank God for such a great man of God appearing in my life that loved me like he did. No man ever loved me like Serene, Saliou, and Baki. And I just now begin to really understand how much my father loved me. He really loved me. He told him one time, he was trying to announce me as Ibrahim Al-Jahiz. He said, this is Ibrahim Al-Jahiz from America that's come to see you as many times as I've been to see my father. This fool gets up and announces me like that. And father raised up, he said, no. he said, well, he said, this is Sheikh Ibrahim Al-Jahiz Sar and Baki. And I have nostalgia for him. And the only thing they could do was hang their wicked heads down because they didn't want to accept the benediction that had been given to me. And some of them still don't. They still don't want to recognize this shape. My mom was asking me about that today. I said, yo, I said, all the ones that love me are ones that can't speak English. They all love me to death. Other brothers. And then there's some brothers that do love me, you know. I'm telling you, man, some of them are so arrogant. Some of them are so humble. Some of them are so humble. Some of them are so humble. Some of them so arrogant. I just go one extreme to another in the back. I'm been back here. I can say what I want to say. Until you have the mantle of Serene Saliou, you don't say nothing to me. No. Until you have this mantle. I walk alone. I walk alone before I give my dignity to people. I don't sell my dignity. Cameron wants to play Spike Lee on me tonight. You know. I love all my Moor brothers, but I demand my respect. You don't have to love me. Because you damn sure will respect me. Because I'm not trying to be like nobody but me. Because I can't hide nothing from me, from the Lord who created me. So you judge by a word. I say damn. I say words that you say every day. You get hung up about a word. Allah is hung up about how your spirit and how foul your spirit is before him. He's not hung up on a word, he's hung up on those words you don't say. How much envy is up in you, how much jealousy is up in you, how much greed is up in you, how much lust is up in you. Those are words you can't hear with words, with your teeth. Those are spirits you take into the mosque and to the church, and you come out with the same spirits. I see you living next door to me. I see how you act. You're in church every Sunday, but the church ain't in you. I see this. It saddens me, not angers me. It saddens me. It hurts. The biblical story about him, Yahushua, Isa alayhi salam, one you keep wrongly calling Jesus. He was up on the mountain one day with Peter and some people. And all of a sudden he started glowing and radiating, pulsating. And all this wondrous light and rays began to break forth out of the master. They saw this. They beheld this with their own eyes. They saw this, and this is called its transfiguration. The first thing they wanted to do was build some monuments, some concrete monuments to this event. The master told them in so many words, you go read it, it's in your New Testament. He said, we're not here to build monuments. This is what he was saying in our language today. We're not here to build monuments of stone. We're here to melt hearts of stone. Let's go on down the mountain and deal with this multitude down here. We got these 2 fishes and this loaf of bread. Let's be busy about doing something to make the world a better place. There's enough people trying to tear it up and destroy it. When are you going to stand up and make a difference and stop this? You have the power to stop racism. You have the power to stop racism in Montgomery, Alabama. That wasn't just black people. It was black people that ended up boycotting them buses, but it was a whole lot of Jewish people that went down in Alabama. Some got killed. Folks got hurt, maimed. Man, a whole lot of bad things happened to some people that took part in stopping racism back in the 50s and 60s. And what we got to deal with today in 2018 on Facebook? Mark Zuckerberg, you need people like me by your side. Because whatever is helping you now, man, is doing more harm to you than good. I'm serious, man. I thought I saw a visionary in you, man. A great young visionary in you. Get off of here. Because I say what I got to say to people. You got to be afraid to be who you are and what you got to say. You should have never been born. Nobody ever made a difference in this world that was a coward. No one ever made a difference in their family, their community, that sat down and watched evil operate right in front of them. There's a lot of good in this Facebook team. I want to see the good. I don't want to see this other thing coming out. That needs to be changed. That's my suggestion. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.